So just wanted to make a quick comment about the difference between the right wing and the left wing in terms of getting results done and the power dynamic between the voters versus the politicians, left versus right. I really don't know how to explain this in a simpler way, but on the right, people are rising up and taking a stand. They don't tolerate politicians not delivering what they want. The problem is the politicians and the media have manipulated the right wing into focusing on things that are not the most important things, in my view, for them. So there's things that they need help with, that they're struggling with. There are, pains that they're going through that are not being addressed and they're not focused on because they're being manipulated to focus on things that benefit the elites and the 1%, while ironically making them feel as if they're doing the opposite, right? You have these elites telling them, we got to go against the elites, right? Elites telling them, let's go against the elites, right? Billionaires telling them, let's go against the elites, right? Billionaires from New York. And they're falling for it. But here's the most important thing that, I don't know how to explain this more that the left can understand. Republican politicians fear their base. I'm not just talking about the extremists who might get violent. So there's a fear of, hey, these guys might come to my home or something. You don't have to go that far. Right now you have big names who are running for president in the Republican Party. They're showing up at major conservative events and they're getting booed. Right? They are not toeing the line the way that the voters want, and the voters are not having it. The voters are saying, hell no, get the hell out of here. We don't want to hear anything from you. You're a traitor. You're a sellout. Now, as a left winger, you can focus on a lot of this being misguided, right? That they're being manipulated into basically being concerned about, in most cases, their better options while embracing their worst options. You can focus on that. Or you can focus on what's the most important thing. Just like how you may look down on them and say, look at them, they're spending all this energy on nonsense. What about you? Are you spending your energy focusing on how they're being manipulated and they're focusing on the wrong things? But are you focusing on the wrong thing by focusing on that rather than focusing on what's the most important thing to learn from the right? Forget about what they're fighting for. Focus on the fact that they're fighting. And focus on the power dynamic as a result. Why do you think the Republican Party is so unhinged? Why do you think they're saying the crazy stuff they're doing? They're doing the crazy stuff that they're doing. They're doing it because they have a base that demands this kind of behavior from them. Right? You've got to deny the election. You've got to back up Trump no matter what, we find out Trump has done or what indictment or whatever it is. No matter what Trump does, you got to back him up. He's the leader of the party. You've got to go and back him up. And if you don't, you're going to be punished. Why don't you focus on that dynamic, which results in major legislation? They have passed so many bills all over this country because the right is fighting while the left is asleep. Ever since Joe Biden got elected, the left went to sleep. The last fight the left had was the force to vote. That's it. They had a major bill that had a lot of things they claim that they want, the left wants, and yet I only saw like half a dozen people that went out and fought for it. Remember Build Back Better? All of those hardcore leftists that, we're the real leftists and the squad is fraud and whatever. Those frauds who are busy calling other people frauds didn't fight for Build Back Better. Build Back Better was one of the most powerful moments that the left had, where a lot of stuff that they claim they want could have been realized. Imagine what would have happened if there was a major fight, like how the right is fighting right now. A bunch of people in the streets saying Build Back Better must pass. If it doesn't pass, we're not going to vote for Democrats, or whatever it is. Imagine if the Democrats were afraid that if they didn't pass Build Back Better, that they were going to just lose brutally. But they had no such fear. They played the rotating villain trick, which works all the time with their brain dead base, right? Oh, Mansion and Cinema, Mansion and Cinema, oh, Mansion and Cinema. Mansion and Cinema, the biggest Democrat assets. We're supposed to think, oh, they're a problem. So the two people that are doing hard work to protect the donors, who are the ones funding the Democratic Party, we're supposed to think that they're the enemies, right? The big money donors that keep the Democratic Party afloat don't want Build Back Better. And we're supposed to believe the person who shut that bill down, he's the bad guy. Right? He's messing up Joe Biden's plan. I say Joe Manchin was one of the biggest assets in the party, and he didn't do anything with Joe Biden's plan. He was Joe Biden's plan. You get the points for talking, the virtue signaling, oh, we got to do better, American people. And then you don't deliver, and then you just blame the Republicans. Right? They were glad to see Build Back Better fail. In fact, the whole thing was a fraud. They already had determined how much the bill was going to be before the whole thing started. They pretended to negotiate, pretended to be going back and forth, right? Joe Manchin from the get-go wrote everything down, what he wanted and blah, blah, blah. And mainstream media helped them to fraud us, pretending like, oh, Manchin, we don't even know what he wants. He already from the get-go. This is like wrestling. It was already planned who was going to win, who was going to lose. Like those delusional people who think, January 6th was some kind of psyop or something planned by the FBI or whatever. Well, this is a case where that was the situation. Right? The whole Build Back Better negotiation, they already had a plan and a script of who's going to win, what it was going to be. Right? And we saw it. It got exposed. The letter that was written, that had everything laid out, got exposed. And that should have been one of the biggest stories of the year, but it wasn't. Right? While you're busy looking at, oh, MAGA this, oh, Trump this, and look at those crazy Republicans this and that, and they don't want to wear their mask and whatever. While you're busy worried about that, while you're looking down at the right for focusing on the wrong things, look in the mirror. You guys have been sitting on your ass since Joe Biden won. You have made yourselves irrelevant. The Democratic Party does not fear you. They're not worried about you. They know that you will back them up no matter what. They can give you crumbs and get away with it. Meanwhile, the right, you can focus on them pushing for the wrong things, right? Or you can focus on the right thing, which is they're showing you how you can get results. Right? Where's the fight? Where's the fear? Democrats have nothing to fear from their base, which is why you guys get crumbs. Meanwhile, the Republican voters are getting tons of things, tons of bills. You may say it's nonsense, right? But focus not on the value of the things getting done. Just focus on that the reason they're getting done is because you have to do these things. The woke war and all that, whatever. You got to do these culture war things to energize the base, to get the votes, to get the power, to get the money. If you don't, they come after you. As a Democrat, if you don't deliver, who's coming after you? What's your fear of not delivering? What's the pressure that you're under? Oh man, we gotta deliver this, otherwise what? Otherwise nothing. Ain't nothing happening. The left is an absolute joke. You got these opportunists online that are just sitting here, isolated from the things they talk about. Who on Majority Report is worried about healthcare? Who on the Young Turks is worried about healthcare? You think Brian Tyler Cohen is worried about healthcare? You think any of these people are worried about minimum wage? Are they making a minimum wage? They are isolated from the things they talk about. They don't care about you. So you're sitting here watching these buffoons distracting you with nonsense. Trump, 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 Trump. Right? Meanwhile, the Democratic Party currently is the party that can deliver the things you want, but they won't because there's no pressure, there's no fear. You guys have made yourselves completely irrelevant. The left in America don't matter. You do not matter. The corporate Democrats ain't worried about you. The progressive Democrats are not worried about you. Until you realize this and start acting like the right and fighting for what you want, things will stay the same. Republicans will win by a small margin. Democrats will win by a small margin. Republicans will win by a small margin. Democrats will win by a small margin. Little crumbs over here, little crumbs over there. Empty promises over here, empty promises over there. Same old, same old. If you like the results that you've been getting, continue doing what you've been doing. Because doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, is the definition of, you know the answer. This is Debate Me channel. Debate me in the comment section below. Click on the like button, subscribe, smash that bell. Be well. Jimmy Dore spews brain dead psyop conspiracy theory. Interesting comments coming from a brain dead group of people. Get a mirror.